Okay, so again, everyone, welcome to Seesaw. This is an introduction. For those of you who don't know what Seesaw is, it really is a nice digital tool that includes students, teachers, as well as parents. It's a nice way to communicate with parents. It's a nice way for students to showcase and showcase their work not only to their, also to their classmates. And it allows students to use some of the digital tools when they are submitting work, whether it be submitting work that they want to submit or submitting work that has been assigned to them. So I'm going to just give you a little introduction as to what we will be going over here. And you can see here the Seesaw overview. These are some of the things I'm going to touch on today. I am going to be only focusing on the free features within Seesaw today. Just like many other digital tools, there are a lot of, just like other digital tools, I should say, Seesaw is also giving out, their Plus version for free. I'm not going to go into any of the Plus features today. One thing that I want to make sure that I put, let me grab the slide deck. I want to share with you the slide deck for those of you who would like to follow along. And I'm sorry I didn't do that earlier. I'm going to put that into the chat room. If you would like to follow along, you can right click on that slide deck and you should get the option services, and then you can open the URL if you want to open it in a new tab. I am sharing this slide deck with you because I do have a lot of pages as well as videos linked in here. If you would click on this right here, this free versus plus, it will give you, you can see a little preview of it there. It will give you a snapshot of what features are free as well or versus plus and the pricing as well. So I just wanted you to have an understanding of what is free versus plus. From what I understand, many teachers who use Seesaw use the free version. Of course, it's also possible if you would like to upgrade to the Plus version, you can, but I'm sure at this moment in time that is not high on your list of priorities. I am going to introduce to you the Seesaw features. There's something called journal, activities, as well as an inbox. I'm going to share with you a few important settings to acknowledge, and I'm going to, of course, share with you how to add classes and students via Google Classroom, via a Google account, which would be an email account, QR code. And then as far as making sure that I point out to you all of the things that students can do, the student tools. So when they add items to their Seesaw account, as well as submit in response to teacher activities that have been assigned. Number 6 and 7, these are also linked pages inviting families, as well as there's a translation feature. And those are both linked to pages. I will share those with you when we get to that point in time. However, just in case you wanted to make sure you, kind of bookmark those are live links within the slide deck. I will just say about the translation feature before anyone goes and gets too excited. It does not translate the, you can't send something out in English and Spanish. However, when a parent has a laptop or a phone or an iPad, and if their home language is not English, their first language, when they set up their laptop, and I'm sure many of you can recall this, when you got your first phone or your first iPad, you identify which language you would like your information to show up on the screen. Well, the translation feature is actually very smart in that whatever home language the parents have their iPad computer device set up to, Seesaw will follow that. So if their home language is Spanish, and they set up their iPad to Spanish, Seesaw will populate on their iPad in Spanish. So that is super nice. There's nothing you have to do in order to make that happen. It just is smart in that it knows to populate in that fashion. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to show a little part of this video that's on the next slide, like 3 minutes of it, because it just gives a nice introduction to Seesaw and it walks you through opening an account. So in order to do this, the very first thing I'd like you to do is at the top of your screen, you should have like a plus sign to open up a new tab. So I'd like you to open up a new tab. And it might make me go away, but you should still be able to hear me. And I will put this link in the chat box. And if you could, again, right click and either copy and paste that or click on the services and open in a new URL, I'm gonna have you go ahead and create an account. So you can, as you're listening, or if you want, you can toggle back and forth. I'm gonna have the video go, and then I will give you a moment, a minute or two, to actually go in and create the account while it's fresh, while the directions are fresh, and then you can ask questions. So the website is in the chat room, and I'm going to go to the next video. When you get to Seesaw, you're going to see the sign up for free, which I have circled, and that is what you will click on. So I'm just going to, if you wouldn't mind, if you are in a new tab, just come back to the tab that you're watching the Zoom in. I'm going to show this brief video, just like I said, 3 minutes of it.
Hi, welcome to Seesaw. This video is designed to help free and Seesaw Plus teachers get up and running with Seesaw. While watching, have another window or device ready to follow along with the steps. Seesaw is a learning platform that allows you to create a powerful learning loop between you, your students, and families to deepen student learning. By the end of this video, you will be set up with an account, a class with students, and ready for remote learning. You will also know how to use essential Seesaw tools. In about 3 quick steps, you will have an account and be ready to use Seesaw. Let's get started. First, create an account in class. It's a twofer. Go to app.seesaw.me or download the Seesaw class app. Find the I'm a Teacher button here. You have 2 options to create an account. Either enter your information here and press Create Teacher Account button, or sign up through Google by tapping here. You will be prompted to create your class. You have 2 options to create a class. If you already have a class set up in Google, click Import Roster from Google Classroom and follow the prompts. Or enter your class name and choose your grade level. If you teach multiple grades or you're a specials class, you can choose Other. Pause the video now to create your account and your class.
Okay, I'm just going to pause the video and allow you to, hopefully everyone's feeling okay about this. If you're not, please feel free to put any questions in the chat, and I will certainly answer them. But I'll give you a minute to take care of those steps. Set my timer. And keep in mind, if some of you are still on the step where you are creating a class, you can just create like a demo class. It can be sample class. You can go in and easily delete classes. If you just are interested in learning and playing with this for now and not actually doing it, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go back and just play the next portion of the video. Yes, you are able to edit classes. That was a question that was asked in the chat. Yep.
All right, you have an account. Let's add your students. Click the plus students button. It looks like this. You can find it down here. There are two ways students can sign in: with an email address and password, or with a class code. If your students have ready access to email addresses, choose Yes. Students will use this code here when they sign into the class app for the first time. Note that the text code expires every 60 minutes. After that, they will simply sign in with their email address and password. If you don't want students to log in with an email address, choose No. This means students will sign in with a class text or QR code. We recommend this sign-in mode for younger students. Next, how will students use their devices? Even in classrooms where students share a handful of devices, students usually use devices one at a time. In this case, choose one-to-one devices. It's the option we recommend. If your students always use the same device at the same time, choose shared devices. It's time to enter student names. You can do this one by one up here, or paste a list of students' names here. You can always add more students later in class settings. When students use Seesaw in school, they use this QR code or this text code to sign into the class app. Note that the text code expires every 60 minutes. They'll use a different code to log in at home, which we'll talk about in a moment. Pause the video now, choose a sign-in mode, and add your students.
Okay, so if you are interested in seeing the rest of that video, it is linked right here in the notes of this particular slide, but that's as much as I'm going to show you of that video, because it does go into some remote learning options, which I am just going to show you anyway, because that is the unfortunate situation that we are all in, excuse me. So I'm going to go back to, I'm actually going to, from here, go live to site. So if you did not add students, that's fine, because my guess is you're just going to play at the moment. Some of the questions that I do see coming in, do the parents see the names of everyone? No. And that is why there were some, these codes expire in 60 minutes because the assumption is that these students are going to be on during the school day and then not be able to show their parents in the evening, because, the way this is set up is that it's a class portfolio that the students can see one another's work. They can comment on it, they can like it, everything is teacher approved, but of course it's a privacy issue if we're showcasing everyone's work to other parents. So I'm gonna, once we get in here, I think you'll understand a little bit better. So I'm gonna go live to site. So this here is what the landing page, or as they call it, the dashboard of Seesaw looks like. I'm just going to give you a little tour. So you'll see over here, of course, you'll see this is what I named my class, Mrs. Tremba's Period 1. You can see over here in the top left-hand corner where my mouse is, this is kind of like where I can see all of my classes, and you'll notice also there's a number 3, which means that there's some notifications. So right here, if I click on that, that shows me all of my classes, and it also allows me to create a new class. So I did demo this in the last session, which is why I now have Mrs. Tremba's Period 1, Period 2. So I'm just going to take a moment and demo how you can easily create another class, if you didn't do it initially when you signed in, but I can just call this Mrs. Tremba's Period, let's say 4. Hopefully I get a little break period free. So I can choose the class, grade level. Notice that up here at the top, I can also import from Google Classroom. I'm not going to choose that option because I do not have a Google Classroom to choose from. One other thing that I want to make sure that I point out is I think we're very used to seeing like a submit or an apply or done button down in the right hand corner after we select things. With Seesaw, whenever you see this green circle and a checkbox, you have to click on it in order to move on. So you can see there as I'm hovering over it, it says submit. So now I have created my third class. Okay, it usually does default to giving you a little tour, seeing how Seesaw works. I don't want to see that right now. You can see this is blue. My other classes, these are blue as well, so it defaults to that. I'm going to show you how you can change. You can see here I have a little owl. I was able to change that in the settings. I am going to go back to this class because this is the class that I've been playing with. So that is the upper left-hand corner. A couple other things that I want to show you is can see here that there's a journal, there's activities, there's inbox. I am not going to touch on skills today. From everything that I have read and watched thus far, the skills is more, you're more involved with the skills feature if you have the pro version. So I'm not going to touch on that at all today. Seesaw has really great videos. The video that I just shared with you was they actually have a YouTube channel. So you can go in there and search for the Seesaw skills tutorial if you are interested. Okay. Let me just move my chat box over. Would you still add the students if the parents are signing up themselves? So how about we just wait until the end to talk about how the parent and teacher interacts, just so that I might answer some of your questions, and then any lingering questions you can ask me as we get to those sections, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. So I just want to point out a couple things. So it defaults to this page, which they call the dashboard. You can see up here, this is the journal option, and the journal is right here. This is like the class feed. So if I'm a student and I post something, it's going to go on here. If I'm the teacher and I post an activity, it's going to go on here. Okay, so think of this as like the class feed. You can view things in several ways. This class feed it defaults to this. So it's all posts by all students. You'll notice right here underneath this Get Home Learning Codes, which I'm going to talk about later, if I click on this, it is the class, this is the class feed. If I click on this, there is calendar view. So we have the class feed, which it defaults to, and then we have the calendar view. So if I click on these days, it's going to show me what was submitted on those particular days. A third way to view the journal is I can look at just one student. So you can see over here, and you might have it as well, that it puts a sample student in your class, which I really like, because then you get to see it from the student side, what it is that you assigned. I am going to show you from I created an account here and I just added my daughter to it. So this, if I just wanted to see what my daughter submitted, and she's the only one who has submitted things because she's the only one that's the account I've been playing with. This is in the calendar view. If I go back to the dashboard or the journal view and I click on Tegan, now we can see things that only Tegan has submitted. And hold on, I just clicked on that, I didn't want to. But these are things that only she has submitted, okay? So you can see that, so for example, this is something that she submitted, and this was, now I know this is confusing because I demonstrated on Friday, as a mom, that I can like and comment. So this is from Kelly Trumba, the mom, not Kelly Trumba, the teacher, because I'm sure, we wouldn't use good job, sweetie. Sometimes we would with their younger students, but this is from, like I said, me, the mom. It's a video she posted. So there's all different ways that you can, post a video, post pictures, post notes. Some of these things I posted. Some of these things are responses to activities that I assigned, and some of these things she posted on her own. Okay, so you can see this one. This is from me, the teacher. I am glad you are spending so much time with your family. So again, you can you can comment as not only the teacher, but also the parent. Now, I will say that if a parent, when we invite the parents and the parents comment, the teachers have to approve it, just like the teachers have to approve anything from the child that gets on the class feed, which is the journal. So nothing gets on this feed without teacher approval. Okay. I see a question. Are the teachers and parents the only ones seeing these posts? Yes. Once you, so yes, but you have to do something in settings. So I will show you, I'm actually going to show you that right now before I get into what the students can submit and the different types of activities. So up here in the right-hand corner, there's a wrench. Usually there's a little gear, but with Seesaw, there's a wrench. So if I click on this wrench, this is kind of how I change all of the settings in Seesaw away from the default settings. So you can see here, I can add students, I can add families here. Here is my class name. I can edit that. If I just click on this, I can edit the class name. I can edit the grade level. I can manage teachers. So for those of you who might be a co-teacher or have a co-teacher, or sometimes you have, partners who you meet with students, you can add another teacher's address here, and you will have equal rights at this particular Seesaw page. Okay, you can only add up to one. I do know that. But that is a nice feature that you can add another co-teacher. Okay, you can change the class theme. As you can see, it's orange. It defaults to blue. You can change the class icon. Sometimes it's easier to do that because then you think, oh, owl's period 1, saxophone's period 2. You'd be surprised how quickly you get to know those icons. If you chose a way for your students to sign up and you want to change that, this is where you change that. Okay, you would go to one-to-one devices, which I'm sure they are all doing now, even though you might not have been one-to-one in your classroom. My guess is, the assumption is that, everyone who can sign in from home is signing in from home. You can manage your students here. So I can go into Tegan's account and I can, manage her name, her last name. Maybe, you spelled her name wrong or she spelled her name wrong. And you can manage your students here. You can see family members. So if I go into Tegan and family member, I can turn off allowing replies in the inbox. I can delete this particular parent. I can invite more family members. You can add up to 10 family members for each student. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. Manage students. I'm not going to touch on the home learning codes just yet. It's a little confusing, and I don't think you really need it. I'm going to show you one thing that you can do here. Student likes and comments. So you can turn likes on so that students can like other posts, and you can also turn off comments. Okay, you can also have here, you could turn off new comments require approval. So when students are in school, in actual the physical school, this might be something that you want to turn back on to enable students to comment on one another's work. And, you know, it's just giving feedback within the class. And also, I don't think you're ever going to want to turn off new comments require approval. But I do think that, you know, this is something that you'll want to turn back on to enable students to comment on one another's work depending on your grade level. Okay, so this is the biggest thing that you're going to want to turn off right now. Students can see each other's work. Because of privacy, with everyone working at home, the brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever, being able to see another child's work, you might want to turn this off. So if you turn that off when a student submits work, the only person who will be able to see it is the teacher, unless you also link a parent, okay? So I'm gonna leave that on for now. However, certainly, you know, when you go in, jot that down in class settings, in the little wrench, you wanna go in and turn off, students can see each other's work. You're gonna leave on, new items need approval. You're gonna leave on, should you wish, enable item editing, which means after a student submits something, they can go back in and edit it, okay? If you like the sample student, here is where you could turn it on and off. Enabling family access. If you turn that off, it's just going to take the invite families option away. Okay, right here, when you invite families. Oh, I do want to take a moment to show you this. So only one student is populating on my screen. However, after you have your students added to the class via, you know, emails or via Google Classroom, all of your students will be listed on this page, okay? So you can see here, Tegan's in my class, Kelly, the mom, is the parent in this connected to her. I can add another family member. You can see here, don't have emails or mobile numbers. You can also print invites. So if I click on this, this is really nice. The paper invites are available in multiple languages. So if I click on this, you can see that I have Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Polish, Japanese. So, you know, I have a fair amount of languages. If I can go and print that, I understand you're probably not sending these home, but certainly you can either take a screenshot, you could save it, and email them home as well, okay? This is another way you can share an invite link. So you can simply copy that link and then email it off to parents. What you can't do is choose the language of what that email will say. All right. Right here, down here where it says, what happens after I send the invite? If you recall back on the slide deck, I had a link that said inviting families, and that is going to take you to this screen. How do I invite parents and families? And this video, you can see it's only 1 minute and 34 seconds. It will walk you through the process, and it will tell you what will the parents see on the other side. Okay, so this is a nice video for to support you, because you don't know what the parents are receiving. All right, I have a question in the chat. Do the parents have to set up an account on Seesaw? And the answer is yes, I believe they do. So I'm trying to think back when I did it as a parent. There is an app that they can download. I just actually downloaded it on my phone, and I think I signed up through Google, but they will need an email account in order to sign up. So the fortunate or unfortunate answer, I'm not quite sure, is yes, they will have to set up an account. So you can set it up, in either way, whether they do a link or you can print. Now, if I print that, it's actually a QR code that they can scan with their phones as well. It gives them that option. All right, I'm gonna go back. And I just wanna make sure that I got everything, but I want to get into what I think you're going to really like about Seesaw, and that's all that the students can do. So real quickly, you know, pending family approvals, this is turning on the fact that you have to approve. Can they like, comment, share? You enable all of that, okay? I'm gonna, there are folder capabilities. Again, it's just something that you have to play with. I haven't played much with the folders. I told you I wasn't touching on the skills. And then, you know, if you wanna save to camera roll, you can turn that on. I do not have that turned on. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of settings. There's another question in the chat before I move on to what students can do. Do we put in the students first and then invite the parents? Yes, yes. If your students don't have their own emails, I think you're going to have to just invite the students via their parents' email, and then you might not be able to invite parents as well. But if your students are that young, you're likely inviting, I mean, they're not going to be able to access the account with other parents' emails, so their parents are already going to be involved if their email is involved. Yeah, so the parents are acting like the students. Yes, and what you'll have to do if you do it that way, because it's likely that parents will go in and enter their name, is you'll have to, you know, go into the settings and students, manage students. Okay, so if I clicked here, you'll notice this is the email. So this will be the parent's email, but you'll want to go in and you'll want to make this the student's name. Otherwise, it's going to get way too confusing for you. Okay. All right. So
Kelly, can I ask a question? Hi, I'm Beth. I don't know if you can hear me.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I put it in the chat, but I sort of stumbled through this yesterday, just trying to figure it out. And so I added my students, and then I did the whole, I got learning codes and the Excel file.
Yeah.
I emailed that to my parents. Did I do that right?
So you got the remote learning codes.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
That is explained right here.
Yeah.
I don't know that you have to do that. If you, I think the easiest thing to do is just invite them the way I just showed you, and then go into the settings and turn off that enable them to see one another. I think that is the quicker fix.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think they do the same thing, but again, I'm no expert. I might be wrong, but you know, that is probably the most confusing part for me, is the why are there these home learning codes when you could just go in and turn that setting off. So maybe I'll dig into that a little bit more. Okay.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. And let's see. All right. So this is the most exciting part. So let me get into this. So I'm going to show you what I can do as the teacher. So 2 things, and then I want to show you what the kids can do as well. So right here where it says, you know, I'm in the journal view, if I am a teacher and I want to add something, I just click on this add button. I can post student work, I can assign an activity, or I can send an announcement. Okay, so I'm going to just show you one of each. The announcement is actually probably the easiest. So if I send an announcement, I go to send to. I can choose to send it to students, to all family members, or to all students and families. So I am just going to put in here Zoom meeting at 1 p.m. today. You know, maybe I'd have the link in there, whatever it is. So send now. So that's real easy. Send an announcement. You can see here, it shows me that the announcement is there, which is over here in my inbox. Okay, so now you'll see it move to the inbox. Okay, real easy. So it shows you who sees it as well. Okay, and over here, if there's something I want to edit or I want to copy an announcement or delete an announcement, I can do. Okay. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is adding either student work, and this is the exact same thing that students can do. So as I am demonstrating this as a teacher, please think to yourself what a student can do, okay? Because there are a lot of options. So the first thing a student can do is they can simply take a photo of themselves, introduce themselves. So if I, clicked on this button right here, it would take a photo of me. So can do that. Likewise, I'm going to skip over the drawing on purpose. Likewise, they can take a video of themselves and, press this button, it records, and they can, and I'll show you that something that my daughter posted. They can show a video of themselves. They can upload. So for those of you who are home with kids like I am, my kids have had to upload a lot of pictures. So they've been taking pictures with their phones and sending it to their laptops and then uploading from their laptops. So that is, the capability of that. They can also send links to things. So if I wanted to share a link, let's say to a video, or a student wanted to share a link to something, they can share a link. Now those were the easiest ones. Yeah, sorry. So, sorry about that. So the note here is, they can type up something. You can ask them to type up a note. So I'm just gonna, do that. And then again, my over here in the right hand corner, the circle with the check mark would be how I would submit it. I'm not going to submit that because it's just garbage. Now this one I think is going to be the most exciting for you, and that is this is where they can draw, they could add text. I am going to say that adding text is a little tricky. So if I go to this T and add text, students, I don't know that little ones are going to know how to make it bigger. I don't know that they're going to know how to move it around so they can turn it. So it's just a little tricky. When you get those 4 points, the crosshairs, that's how you turn it. So now even me, I can't, it's hard to turn. But when you get that, they can move this around. They can, they just have to, be able to manipulate. You can see here, I can change the style, the font, I can make it order, bring front to back, and I can lock it, I can duplicate it, and then of course I can delete it. But in here, this is my math problem. Okay. And so, this is just text here. And again, now I'm having trouble finding the crosshair. So that's why I just find this to be a little tricky, because I want to move that over, and there we go. So somehow you just have to play with it a little bit. There's drawing tools down here. Okay. So, and I know there's things coming up in the chat. I'm just going to get through this and then I'll answer some questions. But there's drawing tools. So here I'm going to choose the marker, and you'll see that it's yellow. I can go over here on the right hand side and I can change it to a different color. And now with my mouse, because I'm on a computer, but of course this is going to be way easier on a laptop, on an iPad, on a touch screen perhaps, because some of you might have Chromebooks or laptops that have a touch screen. I do not. But now I'm going to just write out my problem. So 3 times 3 equals, and I'm going to leave it at that. And then you can see over here, there's a microphone. So I can actually record my thinking. So I'm going to start recording. So if I'm a student, this is my math problem. And now I'm going to share with my teacher how I got the answer, of course, 9. So I can just go through an explanation, and then up here in the right hand corner you see done. So I can click done, and now my recording is done. Okay. All right. So I see here that this is a draft, and I can click submit. So now who do I want to submit this to? Because remember, I was just demoing what a student could do. However, I was in as a teacher. So now do I want to, so this is nice. So you can have, remediation type of instruction. So think about all that I just did, but if you were a teacher and you were teaching a lesson, you can send that to all students in your class. You could just send it to one student. I'm going to send it to all students and click on the check mark. Then it goes into this. Do you want to put it in a folder or a skill? See, it says upgrade for skill. So this is the folder that I just created, curiosity. You can see down at the bottom that I can create other folders as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back and then submit. So it's uploading. So now that assignment will have gone to, you can see it here in the dashboard. That assignment will have gone to the students. Before I go in and actually show you what it looks like from the student side, I'm going to take a moment and show you activities. Let me just look at the chat room. Okay, I think some of you are helping one another, which is awesome. Thank you for that. Can we send pictures or individual videos to students as a teacher? Yep, and I just showed you that, how you could send them just to specific students. Okay, so I see this from Laura. I got it to work in Seesaw through Safari, but I wasn't able to add a recording to an assignment as a student. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe your video, your microphone is not enabled, but I would encourage you to use Chrome. Chrome seems to work a lot better with a lot of these digital tools. So maybe get out of Safari and open it in Chrome. I've had a couple parents send videos showing their child talking, so that has been awesome. Yes, now that we haven't been able to see our kids for a while, and that is awesome, you know, that they can, oh yeah, Chrome. No, if you're using an iPad, download the app. Don't even go through a browser. If you're using an iPad, an iPhone, download the Seesaw app, okay? Definitely, don't use the browser, not with an iPad. Oh. Well, then maybe download Chrome, but I would definitely I would definitely take that up with your tech person. You're gonna have to get the app on if all you have is iPads. You can use your laptop, yes. Yep.
Emily,
Yes.
that's a question that could go from supervisor to supervisor.
Okay.
That's not something that we would approach our tech people about.
Yeah.
This is what our tech people tell us, because the tech people were told to tell us this because their supervisors told them to tell us this. So it's really a supervisor to supervisor conversation.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have no clout there. So that's something you'll have to, you know, if this is something that you're going to be using regularly, it might be something that you want to inquire about. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I do recognize that we're running out of time. So if any of you have to hop off at 12:30, please feel free to do that. But I may run a little bit over and I apologize for that. So here in activities, so this is very nice because you can actually find activities or you can create activities for your students. So if I want to add a new, let's see, am I in as teacher? Oh, okay. So here, if I want to go to, these are the activities that have been assigned to class. These are the ones that are scheduled. These are the ones that are archived. If I want to go add and assign activity, there is an activity library that you can find other people who've created activities. But I want you to notice that it defaults to my library. So if you go in here and you look for first grade, all subjects, it's going to say no results because it defaults to my library. So if you go to the community and you search for first grade, and let's say math, now I am getting, you can see 6,294 activities. Now, obviously you're going to want to narrow your search. There are no filters for you to narrow your search. However, if you put in here, search first grade activities, and let's say place value is one of them, I put in place value and it's going to give me all the place values. So I am going to click on this run right here because I anticipate that there's a template. Okay, so what's nice about this is it gives you, you know, you get to see what it looks like. It gives directions and it can play instructions. So one of the really nice things is when you assign your students any kind of activities, whether you find them here or you create them yourselves, you can record directions. Okay, so you'll see here, I get to see all this information to preview it. It tells you what it's compatible with. I am going to click on the heart, and what is that? That's going to do is it's going to put it in my library. So I'm going to click on the heart, and then I'm going to assign. Now you'll notice here, when you assign it, it's going to ask me, who do I want to assign it to? So I'm going to assign it here. You'll notice you can edit students, folders, and skills. So if you only want it to go to a couple students, you can. You can schedule it, or you can go ahead and assign it. Okay. So I want to show you one other thing before. So I'm going to go back to the class. And once again, I'm going to go to assign activity because I also want to show you that, where is it? My library. Oh, I'm staring right at it. I'm sorry. You can create your own activity. So right here, create new activity. The reason I'm showing you this is because I just want to show you how you can, you know, type. I'm just going to actually instructions here. So your students can read them. But I'm also going to show you how you can add voice instructions. So click the button to begin recording. So I'm just going to read exactly what I wrote. Type instructions here so your students can read them. So you type your instructions and then you can read them to them so they can see them. Type instructions here so your students can, so they can see them and they can hear them. You can also add multimedia instructions or an example if you wanted to provide a model. This right here, add template. This is fantastic because you can add a worksheet and then students can write right on top of it. And I'm going to show you an example of that. But you know, I don't have anything right now. I should have had something ready for you to actually add, but I can show you an example. I'm actually going to get out of this. And I'm going to go back to my example of this, which is, let me go back to my dashboard. Okay, so if I, it's this one here. So you can see here that this is one that I assigned, and you can see here one response, 0 waiting for approval, add response. I thought that was, oh, this is, no, where's the one I assigned to my daughter and I had her do? I thought it was this one. But if I click on this, okay, so this is a template. So the students will see this template. Oh yeah, here it is. So when you click on what you've assigned, underneath your students' work will populate. Okay, so if I click here on Tegan Tremba, I can see here, and I actually made a recording. So she worked on this and made a recording. So you can see here last week I was playing. These are text boxes because that was what the original directions were. However, you know, I would just have encouraged my students to write the answer, pick a color, pick a marker, and write it. Recording, so you can see with the red it is recording. So I am thinking, and they can, you know, go through and explain their thinking. So that is, you know, coming from my daughter. So that, you know, I was in her account. That is a student example of submitted work, and I was able to listen to her thinking. So you can encourage your students to record themselves and share their thinking. Okay, before I move into just demonstrating from the student point of view what it looks like, if you've imported Google Classroom, does this link activities on Google Classroom, or do you need to repost in Seesaw? I'm gonna apologize. I don't know the question for that. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to copy your question, and I'm going to share this Google Doc with you at the end. Oh, that's not it. Hold on, sorry about that. I have a Google Doc that I created of unanswered questions, and I will share it with you at the end as well. But I'm going to put that in there and as a question, and then at the end, Desiree, if you wouldn't mind, or Desiree, oh, that's not it. At the end, if you wouldn't mind just putting your email in there, because I will email you a response. Sorry, one second. I just want to copy your question and put it in there before I forget. Okay. All right, so back to Seesaw. Okay, so let me, now I am going to, this is where it might get confusing, I'm going to go in as my daughter. So it looks exactly the same. You'll notice I'm in as my daughter. You can see, I know this because right here it says Tegan Tremba. So she is in, you know, this class. You can see here there are 3 notifications. It's telling me to refresh because something was just assigned. Okay, so this is something that has been assigned to Tegan. I'm gonna, you know, just go into this one. So I made this one last night, just a demo for you. So if I click on this assignment, hold on one second. Okay, now I thought I would be able to write on that, but maybe I submitted that incorrectly. I guess I did. Let me go down here. So this was something that, you know, my daughter, these are assignments that my daughter submitted. This is just a video that she made of herself.
Hi, my name is Tegan Tremba, and this is a test for my mom's presentation.
Okay, so you can see that was the video. Well, one thing that I want to do is I want to actually go in here and I want to click on something. Oh, you know what I'll do is I'll just add something from her. Okay, so I'll go in and because I want to show you how you get the request for approving it. So I'm just going to go in here and type hi and check it. Okay, so you'll notice here, you know, there's a little number 3 so that I can look at, she can see the activities that have been assigned. I can go in here, I can add the response. So this is the assignment that I just assigned, that I just demoed. And if I go click on this, I can view the instructions. It's telling me to add a response, tap the pencil tool, add the correct number of dots to 10 to each 10 frame, tap the check mark to check my work, and then tap the check mark to submit. I can also play instructions.
Tap the add button, tap the drawing tool, use the drawing tool to add the correct number of dots to each 10 frame. When you're all done, tap the check mark and check your work.
Now remember, that was one that I was able to find in the library. So now, if I do this, right, probably picked too thick.
Ellie, not to interrupt you, but we can't see what you're doing. At least I am. I'm stuck on the same.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Sorry.
That's okay. No, thank you for telling me, because I was sharing just my Google Chrome and not my desktop. So thank you for letting me know that. Now I'm going to share my desktop with you because it was only sharing. Can you see now a template with the number 5 in it? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I can see that.
I'm really sorry about that, guys. So you can see this is let me just go back quickly and I'm going to delete. because this is, you know, I was sharing with you my daughter's, her dashboard, and this is one of the activities. So it defaults to here, the journal. And then these are the activities that she has been assigned. So when I went to click on one, I want to add response. And this is what I just shared, but I'm sorry you couldn't hear it, see it. So I can view the directions, which are there. I can play the directions.
Tap the add button. Tap the drawing tool.
Okay, and then I can just follow, you know, right on this. So this on the screen is a template. Remember when I said, do you want to add a template? This is a template, and then I can just draw right in the template. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I'm going to submit it because I'm going to go back to what it looks like from the teacher point of view, which is right here. I'm going to refresh. Okay, so you see here, it says one response waiting for teacher approval. So I can review this. I can see that, where does it say the name? Oh, there it is. So this is the one that's waiting for approval. I can see down here, it says review. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to review Tegan's. I can like it. I can create a comment. I can delete it. I can approve it. So I'm going to approve it and go back. And you can, I don't know if you noticed it here, but there was a button over here on the right that said approve all. So you could go in and, you know, you don't have to approve them each individually. You could approve all of them. Now what I want to do, and I know I'm going to blow your mind a little bit more here. I'm going to go in here and, nope, sorry, click on it from the mom view. So let me just refresh. It's telling me I don't have internet connection, which is impossible. Sorry, just trying to get all these tabs to move around here. And I do not know why this is telling me I have no internet when clearly I am on the internet. Okay, so you can see here, there's something in my inbox, and it was a, just a, hold on one second. All right, so here we go. Sorry, if I click in journals, and there it was home. Hold on. It just populated and I moved away from it. So you can see now as the parent, because the teacher approved it, now I can see the work. And of course you can turn that setting off in the settings that you don't want the teachers, the parents to see all of the work. But this is her work here, and you can see as a parent that I can comment on it. Okay, these are other ones that have been submitted and reviewed, which I can comment on. Okay, all right. So let me just pause there. I am going to wrap up very shortly, but I want to make sure that I give you an opportunity to ask some questions. And I'm not sure if some of these are answers to previous questions, but Michelle wrote, when I signed up for Seesaw, it asked me if I wanted to connect my Google Classroom to it. I can now see all of my students. I'm thinking we can copy and paste the Google Classroom work link to Seesaw. Yeah, that's I'm uncertain of if you, so your students will automatically populate in Seesaw. What I'm uncertain of is if you assign work in Seesaw, like assign an activity, I can't imagine how that would show up in your Google Classroom. unless maybe it just says something like, you know, there was an assignment assigned in, or an activity assigned in Seesaw. I do think it's just a way, I really, if I'm being honest, and I don't know the answer to this, but I'm gonna guess that they have to go into Seesaw to use the features and to use everything. And the way, and Google Classroom is just the way for them to get there, if that makes sense. Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm gonna let me close out this presentation. I hope it was helpful for you. I'm gonna stick on. I am in no rush here. I'm gonna stick around in order to answer any lingering questions. So let me put a couple things in the chat box. Remember, on this page here, there was the inviting families information as well as the translation feature. You can see here, this is what it looks like. How does translation work? And then I did already show you the inviting families one. Okay. So on the screen, and I will put it in the chat room, this is the exit ticket. And this is for Act 48 hours. Okay, so that is for the Act 48 hours. My email is on the screen. Feel free to email me at any time. I am going to, I do want to grab that Google, the unanswered questions, and you can share this because, sorry, not share it, but you can open this, and if there's any questions, and I'm going to say unanswered questions only because it's a question that I can't answer because I don't know the answer, but I can find out the answer and get back to you. So there is the unanswered questions link. It looks like this. No, not like that. Like this. Desiree, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but if you're still on, if you wouldn't mind putting your email address in that link, just so that I can email you. And if anyone else is interested in hearing the answer to that same question, feel free to add your email in there as well. Okay, so if you have no questions, feel free to jump off the call. I do apologize for going a little bit over. I'm going to stop the recording.